Hello? Hello? How are you guys? Oh, there's so many homies here. What's up, guys? This is crazy. So this is where we made the album. We spent like a month in here or something like that. And I don't know. We're going to play some songs from the album. And by the way, if you're streaming live on Twitch, hello, all two of you probably. Or hopefully more. Or not. That's fine too. This is Gabe. Gabe produced our album. He's an amazing producer and an even better person. Give it up for Gabe. We love Gabe so much. Fun fact is that Gabe actually was the lead singer of a band that he doesn't talk about anymore, and that was our first tour ever, is that we opened for Gabe's band.
Yep.
That,
so you Rost.
Yeah.
It's original.
So we opened for him, and now we're tragically so much more successful than he ever was. So.
Extremely tragic.
Jesus.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's very, very true.
This is Joey. I met Joey day one at Belmont. We sat next to each other in music theory class.
Hi.
Let's go, Bruins. They took so much of our money. Like, let's not even.
They only took one semester of mine. 2 semesters of mine.
Look at that campus. It's beautiful, man.
Look at that smile. This is Ryan. We met Ryan. Ryan was a barista at Frothy Monkey.
The Bruins didn't take any of his money.
No, Ryan went to the School of Life, and he's smarter than all of us somehow. So. All right, whatever. This is a song we made. I played this exact Wurlitzer, and we played it right here, just like this. This song's called 222.
222.
17, working on a lifetime. Oh, you can marry me somewhere on the ocean side. Now she's a beauty queen, little tongue-tied, fresh as a Georgia peach that I picked up on the roadside. Heard your name through the pouring rain. Said we could run away, cut a little slice of Portland, Maine. She said every time we fall in love you wanna meet the band. Oh honey, every time I leave I hope you understand. Hey, love you know I've been on a long way back home, hanging out the open window, taking it slow, taking it slow, taking it slow. Yeah, we are.
Thank you so much. That song means a great deal to us. It's one of those songs that we made, and I really don't have a lot of recollection of creating it, but it felt so good. We made it on February 22nd, 2023, and that's why the title is 222. And it was just one of those things that just felt like we didn't want to mess with it, and we just tracked it live and just kept it for what it is, and it informed so much of what this album came to be. But anyway, this is Mr. Gabriel.
I'm going to walk back and forth.
Please, pace,
Go right over there. So I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about how we made some records and some music. Talk about
records.
that one right there. I also want to talk about this place. This is a really magical place. I had walked in here with these guys, I think, for the first time, and we looked around and we were like, I've never felt anything like this before. I mean, even the chandeliers look absolutely terrible. Going on tour and traveling and sharing their story with the world, they're really bad at coming home. And I feel like there was a lot tied into that. So when we started making this record, we wanted to make it in a place that we grew up, that you guys formed in a way that you'd never done it before, in a way how you started with just 3 people making music like a band, jamming it out. I mean, how did you feel about that when we first got together?
I think I would never forget the time that one of the first times we came together, and you asked me this question. You were like, "So, what are you trying to say on this album?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I wanted to feel like this, and I wanted to look like this." And you're like, "Oh, that's great, that's great. What are you trying to say on this album?" And I was like, "Oh, I wanted to aesthetically sound this way, and the drums to feel like this." And he was like, "Oh, that's cool. What are you trying to say on this album?" and it hit me oh no, I have nothing to say. And then for the next 3 days and honestly the next 6 months, we just we chipped away at what it looked like to make music. I'll never forget, Gabe said something to me. He said, "How jaded did you have to become to think that people didn't care about the words coming out of your mouth?" And I never I've always taken my words and lyrics so seriously and so preciously, but I think I got to a point where I started to fabricate things just to keep the machine moving instead of making music and staying creative, and I don't want to call it art, but just living an honest life and letting our music reflect that. And this album helped me get back in touch with that and distill and make the purest form of who I think we are. So I think when I understood that, I had no problem moving forward with that. But then, of course, conceptually is one thing, and then actually getting in here, and then all of us facing each other in this room, and then starting to actually play was a whole other can of worms.
Well, I mean, you've been doing it for, at that point, it was 11 years.
Yeah.
You guys making music together, and one way or another, and some of it grew in a positive way, and some of it grew in a negative way, just out of comfort, or you kind of
or necessity too.
Necessity.
Yeah.
I mean, when your muscles were trained a certain way after a while, and I mean, I even know we had this conversation about fear. I think a lot of us carry fear. I mean, I know all of us in here, we're here because we like this band, right? We like the songs that they sing and the stories that they tell. And without being overly vulnerable, I think it's important to talk about that these guys love doing it just as much as you guys love listening to it. But it's terrifying to do it and be afraid that you'll put yourself out there and no one will care. It's a real challenge that most people in life don't get to really experience. But you guys do. And
what a joy.
But the fear going into it and was so different for each of you. I mean, some of us, there was a fear that this was the end. There was a fear that, no one cared. There's a fear that, I'm not being heard. There's so many fears. And I think one of the most important things that we spent for the first 3 weeks was just kind of reconciling with those fears. And so that we could actually communicate. We could talk. We could look each other in the eye. And we could express our points of view. And I say it we, because I feel like I became a band member for a while.
You did. All the bass on the album is Gabriel. So
it felt very, and then like you said, it felt very full circle to know you guys for so long. And there's a term that my wife likes to remind me of. It's called disowned self. And these versions of self, as we grow and as we age, we move on past these ideas of who we used to be, and we become something else. But some of us, we hold on to those things of what we used to be, and the pains and the wrongs that we had when we got started. And we spent a lot of time working on that, from the guitar parts to the drum parts to the way you sang and presented your vocals. Yeah. And it really became something really freeing, because And we'll get to like one of the last songs that we play. It became just truly free expression. And it's really hard to get there. And do you think it wouldn't be hard to get there after playing together for so long? But actually, it was difficult.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah. You want to play another song?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
What do you play? Slack?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Slack. Yeah, Slack came along pretty early in the process. I feel like it was one of the first songs. Maybe we wrote like around the same time as 222, but it kind of just like existed, and then we didn't really know what to do with it, and it kind of felt like we made it in this old guard. It was like very much like this quintessential penultimate version of Coin, but then we didn't know. It was just like, okay, it's just a song. But then we got in here and then played it like together as a band, and it just like melded together and became something totally different.
I think there was part of that was like we went from computers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was the demo was totally computer, like cut up versions of old songs we've made or like whatever. We just like used all of these things put together to make this like scrapbook version of ourselves. And then we got in here, and then it was like, oh wait, this is like actually like humans playing music. And I think it really turned a corner. Then it became something. I don't know. It became like the first real Coin song. You know what I mean? Like the actual version of that.
The intentionality of recording that song with just the instruments, real instruments, and not computers was what made that.
Yeah, because I mean, you guys know the album we made before this was so computer centric, you know, and so and not in a bad way. Like I'm super grateful for it. We needed to make it, but then the pendulum swings opposite, and I just knew that we needed to make something that was just so open and honest, even if it was self-serving for a second. But anyway, whatever. The song's called Slack.
Yeah, whatever. Totally whatever.
All right. We're gonna play a different version of it. Okay.
Hello, is it obvious? I'm notorious, holding all the blame. You know, I don't talk too much, but don't chalk it up, my body of mistakes. I'll admit, love, baby, it's some bad blood, brush it in the kitchen sink. Loosen up now, give me a little time to think. Cut me some slack, kiss me like that. You don't make it easy, don't believe me when I'm turning my back. And you say, no one's taking my place, but you don't ever need me till I'm leaving. Then I'll come right back, cut me some slack. Hello, I've been losing touch. I know half as much, and it's all that I can take. These days, I don't fall too far. I don't crash my car and call it all the same. I'll admit, love, baby, it's some bad blood, but you through my crooked teeth. Give me a little time to think, yeah. And cut me some slack, kiss me like that. You don't make it easy, I'll believe it when I'm turning my back. And you say, no one's taking my place, but you don't ever need me till I'm leaving, and I'll come right back.
the crux of that song, Cut Me Some Slack, is this idea that we were talking about a second ago that Gabe was saying, how jaded did you have to become to like not feel like people cared about the words coming out of your mouth? And I felt like, I think Talk Too Much and Crash My Car obviously super, like they're based on like true qualities about my life, but the stories are a little bit fabricated sometimes, and I feel like that. And so I felt like I was talking to myself, being like, it's never too late to be the person you want to be. And I feel like I just felt like it was such an opportunity for us to be like, to kind of speak to our past. And because I feel like the past is what made us who we are. And I want to like embrace it with open arms. And I feel like it's okay if you didn't necessarily miss the mark, but it's okay if you didn't. Does anyone have a way to describe this? Ryan, do you have a way to describe this? I don't know if you know what I'm trying to say.
What are you trying to say?
I just feel like this song, it was like I was talking to myself, and I feel like so many people like this. I don't know if this makes any sense to anyone else but myself, but I think it's like, cut me some slack. I don't know. I need to be. It's okay that I wasn't who I am now, and sometimes I bent the truth a little bit more. And it's like, I know I don't actually talk too much always, or I'm not always crashing my car. I use hyperbole sometimes, and that's what Gabe was talking about. Is like, because I felt like going into this album was like, I thought I was like, maybe I write like Stephen King, like maybe I just like fabricate stories and I write fiction. And I think that like Gabe was like, no, like you just tell the truth and you say what you mean and mean what you say and you move on. And that was so revolutionary to me, which is so funny. To think about like actually getting 3 people in a room and just playing and staring at each other is somehow like this like aha moment. But for me, making this album was somehow, we did the least, but by doing the least, we actually like completely revolutionized our process, and we're able to like do this for the rest of our lives now. Because the way we were doing it before, all love to it was not sustainable to our sanity, I don't think. But all right, I'm gonna shut up. Gabe, go ahead.
Well, you know what? We talked on the phone the other day. We're just talking about the patience of things too, and how even you have this urgency to kind of keep moving. And there were numerous times when we were just like patching something in the studio, and you'd be like, why does it have to take 2 hours? And we're like, because you need to relax, man. Yeah. It's going to be okay. But I feel like, one of the things we talked about too was all the different masks that you guys kind of put on for different records. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah. It's just like being these different people in order to, it's not like in a negative mask, but more of like a character per record, and this was to be the character that was the most honest.
Yeah, this isn't a character.
This isn't the character.
Yeah. I remember they brought that up a lot, the word character. Like, I would sing something and you'd be like, why are you singing in that voice? Like, who is that guy?
I don't know him.
And honestly, I'm listening back, I'm like, wait, I don't either. And I think it's kind of like, I love putting on a costume and, kind of like using it as a device to like share a truth about myself. But I think you were so instrumental in kind of getting us to be like, let's take the mask off, let's take the costume off, and just like, let's get naked.
So, we did.
Yeah, and we did. Yeah.
I mean, you did, specifically.
Literally, in Problem, yeah. Yeah.
You guys
photo documentation.
You guys grow vegetables right at your house? Mm-hmm. Exactly. We showed up, and
Veggies.
it was impossible to avoid putting our toes in the dirt.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a joke, got no laughs. Amazing. Fantastic. Very subtle sense of humor.
They're being quiet for the streaming, so they're being polite.
The Twitch stream was roaring.
It's the stream.
Our Twitch is like, awesome, dude.
You're blowing up on Twitch right now.
But, it's true, though, like the having to put your toes into it and be vulnerable and be connected to the story. And I think that is one of the things, like, I remember you and I sitting outside. There's this hallway right here, and on the walls, there's the crazy pictures, because one side of it's Willie Nelson, who looks totally like Willie Nelson, actually, no, he looks like a groomed, healthy individual. And then the other side of the wall is Willie Nelson, like, dude, that guy discovered some crazy stuff. and same thing with Waylon Jennings. But you and I were sitting in the hallway, and you were just like, this is the first time in a while that I feel like there's a story here that I feel connected to, not just one person, or just one person, but all 3 of you had gone on this, I'm going to bring up a Lord of the Rings reference, a fellowship. That's Coldplay. You keep like Paradise.
He keeps thinking it's Paradise. It's Lord of the Rings. It's fine. We're kind of in a dispute right now. Yeah.
And you guys went on this journey together and told the story. I got distracted by Luke's fishbowl.
That's just CJ, by the way.
Which we're going to talk about a lot.
CJ captured all these photos, the beautiful photos that are on display. If you're on Twitch, you have no idea what we're talking about. But anytime you ever see a photo of us in the studio that looks like it was taken in another era, like that's CJ, and she's the most lovely and wonderful person. So we're all talking about you, CJ. Everyone say hi, CJ.
Hi, CJ.
Yeah, we love her. All right,
as much as we were a part of the process, CJ was too. There were points when we were just working on songs, and she'd be walking around with this camera, just like, hey, what is that millimeter?
Super 8.
The 16 millimeter crank is going like this, and
We were like, how loud is this? Is this too loud?
It's so true, though. It's like, you gotta step up to the moment when somebody's like cranking something at you.
You felt like you had to.
I'm not gonna waste their film.
And that was what was cool too, because we weren't just we had a story. We were performing the story out. Like we were in here. It wasn't just like let's get another take and then go back into like a computer.
Yes.
It was like we were looking and going like we were angry sometimes,
right.
and we were sad sometimes, and you could tell the feel of just how it was done by the way that you guys were recording in that moment. I mean, like songs like "Problem," where CJ is walking around with the what millimeter? 16 millimeter. Andrew, who's somewhere in here, is playing guitar. Chase has no shirt on, and he's just ripping it. And we were having it was so free.
The time of my life, like that's number one musical experience.
Yeah.
Ever. Yeah,
Hands down.
Which is crazy because I feel like every time we make a record, it should be the time of our life.
right.
But it's not always like that.
No,
And it was so free and joyful, and difficult too, obviously. But there's lots of good food too.
so true. As you can imagine, guys, you go a little crazy spending like 12 hours a day in this room with no windows. So yeah, I think
You guys feeling it right now?
I think I'm starting to feel it.
A little bit.
I like that, like, when I was thinking about this the other day, how we would sit over there. There's a spot, like a sitting area, and every morning before we get going, we talk about the intention of every song. Like, just thinking about what was the point, what was sacred about it. And I remember you, Joseph, just being so engaged about the guitar needs to feel this way. And, like, you were over there standing with, what did you have? What amp was it?
It was probably the Marshall,
Yeah.
the half stack. Like the
It is a
old
great
one.
picture of it over there, too.
Or an orange one.
Yeah.
The orange one, too.
And you're just standing there, and you're like, we're all in there, and you're just out here by yourself with a huge half stack, just ripping, and it's playing so loud.
I definitely my ears lost a few years of their lives.
Yeah, but I felt like that was
that
also
moment.
like that embodied you in a lot of ways. Like this is like put myself, just release it all,
I had
release
to.
it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that was definitely a philosophy change for this album. And we've already touched on it a little bit, but very much so. Like if each of us, we wanted to pour in our piece of the puzzle rather than just kind of like. And I even talked about this with somebody before we were going on here. Was like instead of we'll fix it later. It was just like let's just get it right. Let's just do it. And even if that means like it's going to take longer, even if that means it's going to be loud, it's going to be uncomfortable, whatever that means. We're going to capture it. And I didn't think going into this album, I think coming off of like the computer music we made kind of 2 years ago, which is great again, but I think it was there were some moments that were copy and pasted, and there were some moments that were kind of just like very clean cut and all love to it. But I think this time Gabe was like, in Strawberry Jam, for instance, that guitar part, this one note, the entire song, my demo that I made was just one bar, and I just copy and pasted it for 3 minutes. And you were like, just play it for 3 minutes. And I was like, wow, it won't make a difference. It's the same thing. It's one note. And you were like, he's like, I don't know. And I don't know if it does, if it's psychological or whatever, but there's something about the way that this stuff just like weaves together, and it becomes human, and it becomes like a tapestry of like of a life that we lived. And like
you say it doesn't exist. Dynamics.
Yeah, exactly. We've got a lot of arguments about dynamics in this room. Yeah. So anyway, I think it's dynamics. I think it's what it is. Anyway, but yeah, so we did that, and the same thing with like drums. And instead of just replacing something or making a loop or whatever, and just making a bed, it was very much like that intentionality of making sure every part is accounted for and cared for, and is an expression and a mirror of like the inside of each of our brains. Yeah. And you were, I mean, honestly, a little overbearing, but pretty intentional, but pretty annoying, to be honest with you. But about like me, like I think that you came in and you were just like, yo, like your homies' voices are not being heard as loud as they should be. And he was like, there's no reason that y'all can't accept the Grammy, and like you three can be holding hands. They don't have to be standing behind you while you're holding it. And I think I had to like come to grips with this fact that like I had put all this pressure on my shoulders, and I had built up like resentment towards my best friends because I felt like they weren't like pulling the weight like I was or something like that. And it's like, we're not even pulling weight, we're just making music. And it became this like weird business where like our financial security is wrapped up into it. And then I have all of you guys to worry about, which again, all love, but it's like, I feel that pressure. I feel that pressure a great deal, and I don't want to let you guys down because I know how much it means to so many people around the world. Like, that's crazy. And so my dad told me something going into the studio, and he was like, it's not pressure, it's pleasure, which is a weird thing to hear from your dad. And, but but he definitely, it stuck with me though. And I'll never forget Ryan was sitting right there where Gabe is, and I was sitting over there. We were playing, it was the first song we tracked, it was Take It or Leave It. And we were just like, let's start with something easy, like it's easy. And then Ryan and I get like pretty much like a fist fight about something. and I just looked at it and I was like, it's not pressure, it's pleasure. I'm like, thanks, Dad. But I don't know. I just had to reprogram my brain to just like to think about like it's not about what the music, and I've said this a few times on social media and stuff. It's like it's not about what the music can get for you. It's like what you can give to it, and that's what this room was for us. It was like. It was a safe space for us just to give to this art project that now is out in the world that's going to give to other people. And in turn, it gives back to us instead of just trying to like be this vending machine that can just like spit out, rewards. And I feel like I had used music as that, and it just left me feeling empty and confused. And again, all love, but we needed to make this. I don't know if you guys have anything to say about that. But
Raise your hand if you know what band you want Coin to be.
What does that mean?
Exactly. You guys are whatever you want to be.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they don't have an idea of you. They just like your music. They like what you do. They like the personality of who you are.
Yeah.
I mean, they show up because they want to follow the journey of wherever you go. Fellowship of the Ring.
Still not it, but just keep sitting there.
We're kind of working it out. Yeah.
Literally, for Halloween, we all dressed up.
No, Gabe dressed up. He bought everybody
You
costumes.
had to go. So yeah, I bought everybody Lord of the Rings outfits.
I partook.
Yeah, you were Eowyn.
Yeah, I partook.
And you were Gollum.
Yeah. I was a little too precious with the product. Yeah. That's kind of a pattern. I don't know if you guys know. I definitely am like a control freak. So.
Look at this one over here. She's like trying to be discreet, and then we're just going to talk about her as she rolls out.
Anyway.
You want to play another song?
Sure. You got anything else to yap about? What do you?
I don't know. What's the song we're playing?
Let's play Strawberry Jam.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just love this song.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually think that it's a sister song to 222 because 222 is about leaving and just feeling the longing of disappearing and the sadness that goes with that. And Strawberry Jam is the return and being like, I'll bring you Strawberry Jam. I want to come back and bring you all these gifts and wonderful things. And it's like, in reality is when you're in relationships and partnerships, they really don't want anything other than you. Yeah. They don't want you to leave. And
brutal.
It's brutal.
Yo, say less. That's awful. I hate that.
I know.
Yo, Kristen, my partner, hates Strawberry Jam. She only likes grape jelly. And like, yeah, I definitely like brought her some Strawberry Jam back. I was like, she's like, this is for you. Your entire life is for you. So, yeah. So anyway, we're just trying to be more unselfish here. All right. Yeah, Strawberry Jam? All right, sure. I'll play acoustic.
Oh, yeah, you gotta play acoustic on this one. There's so many cool... There's a great, picture over there, and it's a bunch of us. It's got Conrad, the engineer of the record, and you guys. We all picked up a guitar at one point on the record.
I was growing some.
Growing, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's cool. We all just played whatever music we wanted to play at the same exact time. I just think that was so cool. Yeah. Whatever you wanted in that song. We literally just play whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
And then we put it to the tape machine and just
yeah. And it melts together and it makes something special. Because if you listen, because okay, we're pretty intentional, pretty specific. If you guys ever been to one of our live shows, it's very put together and it's very precise. And I think that if you listen to the stem breakdowns in times past of albums, they've been very gridded and very very clean and pocketed. And this stuff, if you get the breakdowns, it sounds crazy, but you don't notice it when it's all together, which is kind of a beautiful metaphor for our band too. So, what's up, Joey? All right, this song is called Strawberry Jam.
Great jam. For Kristen.
I think there's something I'm running from. Or is it just who I am? I leave you there in a parking lot. Do it again and again. I told you I would come back for you and bring you strawberry jam. You said you fell in love with a pretty mouth. It'll chew you up, it'll spit you out. She likes it better when I'm taking my time. Fire burning at both ends, don't want another perfect goodbye. She likes it better, oh, she likes it better with my head down. Lately, mine is talking in the backseat, in circles, playing 18. God only knows what you see in me. Lost my head in a burning room. I found your keys in my coat. We fell in love in a parachute. Then I set off like a rolling stone. Now I apologize to you. Now I apologize for that. Now I'm calling in the Air Force. You're waving like a flag. Now I turn around and right when I'm walking away. Ah, she said it to my face. She likes it better when I'm taking my time. Fire burning at both ends, one another perfect goodbye. She likes it better, oh, she likes it better with my head down. Lately, mine is talking in the backseat, in circles, playing 18. God only knows what you see in me. Now I apologize to you. Now I apologize for that. And I'm calling out the airport. You're slipping out the bag. And I turn around and right when I'm walking away. Ah, she said it. She said it. She said. 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 She said.
Yo. Harmonica Man.
I remember we were working on this song, and you're like, "What if we had harmonica on it?" I was like Blues Traveler, and he was just like, "Yeah," and then we're just like, "Okay," and so you just recorded it on your iPhone,
Yeah, that was the iPhone. Yeah, I didn't change that one.
and we never we brought it in because like that sounds sick. That's it. Raise your hand if you like Blues Traveler. I got one guy.
for Blues Traveler. Yeah.
Oh, that's too good. That is perfect.
But yeah.
Shout out to Blues Traveler.
Yeah, no, I know everyone thought I was joking when I said harmonica. They're like, yeah, for sure. I saw this really good meme.
Nah,
and
dude, I
was
did
like,
not think you were joking.
Yeah, it does sound like the harmonica sounds like in the car, in my car specifically. It sounds like a microwave like hits your brain when it comes in. melting, dude. Ryan's only makes note. He's like, "Do you think like the harmonica's too loud?"
Every like 2 weeks, I'd be like, I don't know, maybe just a little quieter.
To which
It kept getting louder and louder.
To which Chase and I said, no, it
You're
actually
like
could be louder.
When you're texting like Gabe and the mixer like separately, just really trying to like have respect for like how much Chase was really in love with it. Like it just got louder and louder and louder.
Ryan said, "It sounds like Sesame Street."
It really does. It's I say does
did
because it
say
still sounds.
It does.
The album's about like being a kid again and stuff. So
Taking it back to pre-adolescence.
So was it perfect? Because like my kids were here, when we did it. It was about being a kid again. It's about not being afraid, like you were, like not being like. And that.
Gabe brought his children into the studio, which is so unprofessional. Let's be real. No, these wonderful children who were just covered in like sap from climbing trees, who just go to like this Montessori school, who like, I don't know, they live outside of society. I love you kids. Anyway, and they're just in here and they're just like looking at all this equipment, and Gabe was like, let's get them on Along for the Ride to sing The Haze, which, by the way, guys, we should talk about Along for the Ride for a second. The hardest Coin song we've ever had to make, ever. We can get into that in a second, but anyway, so he gets the. They get on the mic and they just
break when you talk about it.
They just yell like, "Hey," and that's it. That's pretty much all they did. Not even that impressive, to be honest with you. I'm just kidding.
They lack talent. That's what you're saying.
No, they're like 5 and how old are they? 5 and 7, 5 and 9.
5 and 9.
Oh gosh, I do love the children a lot.
They're really
they're
adorable.
so sweet.
yeah, make no mistake.
Yeah,
They're cute.
all love. And anyway, so they came in here and they sang it, and then the youngest one, after she took her headphones off, she just like screamed, "I'm not afraid of music anymore." And I was like, that's so weird. Like why? Like why did you? Actually, before she put the headphones on, she was like, she said, "There's music in here." I'm like, do you know what headphones are? And
She's 5.
yeah, I just feel like you have a studio at your house, though. I don't, like, do you let her in there? Like,
No. Yes, we do.
I'm just kidding. All right. So anyway, so she says that I'm not afraid of music anymore, like super triumphant. And then for, I just kind of locked it away, and I was like, man, he's got some cool kids. And then I told this story on Instagram, but I just always remembered that, and I just thought it was really, really unique because the album was called The Kiss for the longest time. Like and it was this idea that we were seeing each other for who we really are. And I think that's like what a kiss is like such a vulnerable, like kind of gross act, but it's like also beautiful at the same time, and connecting mouths. And so I felt like that's what we were doing. We're connecting our mouths in life form.
And you like mouths and teeth.
Yeah. Well, I love teeth. I cannot get enough of talking about teeth. And for the coin lore. And anyway, so yeah, it was called The Kiss, and which is why we use the Brancusi sculpture, which is public domain. So shout out to Brancusi.
So anybody can use it.
Anybody can use it. They can't stop you.
Can't stop you.
And which, by the way, I'm just gonna interject really fast. So this studio, super haunted, really old, really haunted, and
Can I do that? Is that all right? Okay.
and Joey and CJ were like fumbling around upstairs in these old abandoned like RCA, because this was like the RCA like label offices at some point, and
Do
the
you
studio
remember
in the
that
same
guy's
building. Wood Newton.
Woody
Yeah,
Newton.
his name's Wood Newton. So he had an office up here, this like abandoned office. I didn't go up there actually, and they're going up there and they're just like pulling on doors like delinquents, truly. And
No, it was his office.
it
was his office in his writing room, and he showed us
it's not
to
a
it.
band. Yeah, I did make it sound pretty spooky. Anyway, but so that we had used that, we're naming it The Kiss. We're using the sculpture. We knew this going into it. We knew we were going to capture ourselves like a true picture of what this band was, to be transparent, open, and honest. And so they're up there and they're like fumbling around, and they see one picture on this guy's wall, and it happens to be the Brancusi sculpture. And you brought it down and just started like I just never forget. But I felt like I was like, oh my gosh, we are in the right place. I can't shake that feeling. Like I've never even. I discovered it because I didn't go to school for art, but like I saw it was a clue on Jeopardy, and I was like, I love this. This is it.
Heads up, he lives in West Virginia.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of culture down there. Yeah, I get most of my culture from Jeopardy. And so anyway, so seeing it was, and that would make the second time I had seen it. Maybe it's, I don't know. So anyway, so it happened to be here. Maybe you guys aren't understanding how crazy that is. One picture on this guy's wall, and it happens to be what we're calling the album, and it's the actual picture of the sculpture.
And even with all that serendipity, you still didn't name it that.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, and then it's the great segue back to your children. And so a few months later, we're calling it The Kiss, and we're kind of starting to like develop like a brand and like an identity, and like trying to figure out how to like convey the story. And we had started mixing at this point, I think, or we had board bounces. We had board bounces of the live things we had tracked in here. And I think we just started mixing, and I think we all kind of did. We all felt pretty crazy, like listening to like segments of the album. Some parts were really great, and some parts where I just felt like, you ever like, I don't know, look in the mirror and be like, wow, it is what it is. Like, it's like, and I felt like that's kind of what I was looking at when I was like, when I was listening to the album, I was like,
you're killing it today.
And I was listening to the album, and I was like, I was like accepted, but I was like also bummed because I felt like there's so much more to us. Like, we're not just like three random dudes, and I just feel like we didn't try our best or something, or didn't capture the right picture of us. And then I had the opportunity. Do you guys know the app Untitled? You guys know this app? It's like an app. It's like SoundCloud or like Dropbox, but you can like listen to things in sequence. And our friend Joseph from our label sent me the app, and I was able to sequence the album like you would listen on Spotify or on the vinyl or on a CD, and I got to listen in sequence for the first time ever. So not the mixes, just like what we captured here, just like straight up, not even really affected. And dude, I kid you not, I cried my eyes out, and I texted them immediately because I realized what we had done, and I realized the weight of what we had conquered. And which was like fear of, accepting ourselves and fear of ourselves. And I think Joey said that recently. He was like, I'm not afraid of music anymore. It's not just that. It's like, I'm not afraid of myself anymore. I'm not afraid of who I am. And I think there's so much identity that was in question going into this album. We're so shaken. And so listening down to this, like, I actually like heard who we were. And maybe not who we are now, but like in the section, I actually, for the first time ever, I saw us. I heard us. And I just cried in that moment. I was like, I don't know. Gabe's daughter's words came back like echoing in my head, like a firework. And I was like, I feel like that doesn't. I thought about naming a song that or something. I didn't know if it was. That's hard to care about everything. I was like, maybe we name the song that because it just felt like so emblematic. And then the more we got into it, was like, this is just. It's bigger than just that. And so we found a way to use the Brancusi sculpture, which again, they'll let anybody use it. They can't stop you. Anyone. And then, so yeah, we married it with that, and it just became something, I don't know, it just felt like it was always supposed to be that way. So, all right, I just yapped a lot.
It was good, though. It was really good yapping.
It was good yapping.
Super nice. So much. I remember Joseph, when you walked out with that picture, we weren't in the studio.
Oh.
So, in the parking lot here, it's a very large parking lot. And we built it.
Before you tell this, hold on. We are tennis players, okay? We are tennis players. We love tennis.
Professional tennis players.
No. We love tennis, okay? But he's going to tell you that we set up a pickleball court outside.
Yeah, we did.
I'm not into pickleball, all right? Okay?
Don't get
it twisted. I'm not into it, all right? I definitely don't have multiple paddles at my house.
There we go.
So we set up we got a bunch of gaff tape, which is the tape that's this green lime tape to keeping track of things. That black stuff on the floor. And we just set up a pickleball court in the parking lot because it was really good for our brains because, one, this place is amazing, but also a dungeon. And I'm sure the asbestos that's in here is highly illegal. There's got to be so much asbestos in the walls, right?
Sure.
Like thousands of gallons. These are measured in gallons.
Y'all should get checked out after this.
After this, we still got deep decontamination.
You have a friend who has a sauna or something? Probably.
Sauna. So we would play pickleball all the time. Then Joseph comes out running with this picture. He's like, "What? I found this upstairs!" Great, after I'd beaten Chase for the 100th time that I beat you.
I don't play pickleball, I told you.
Here's the thing: is you forgot one thing. Mr. Newton, Wood Newton, he sung CJ and I a song he had just written too, and then he gave it to us as a gift. Yeah,
it's hanging up on your wall at your house, right?
It is. Yeah.
Man,
I'm still convinced he was a ghost, though.
That's what I was going to say. When the song was over, he just vanished.
I think so.
Picture was just in
when we got the.
You're sure you met this guy?
When we got the film back, he just wasn't in any of the photos. I was just me kissing the air.
Yeah. Just you kissing. Yeah. We were kissing him.
You kissed Wood.
He's really convincing.
Bro, he asked you to kiss him?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Moving on.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Did he he say Woody or Wood? Be honest, when he introduced himself.
I don't know, CJ, Woody or Wood? No, Wood. Yeah.
It's Wood. Yeah.
All love to, I mean, wherever he's at right now.
Well, this are we segueing into the last song?
I feel like we got more to talk about.
I feel like we got to. Yeah, that's why I'm not sure. Do you want to just play one more version of Coldplay's Paradise?
It's Lord of the Rings. You guys don't know that? Okay.
Well, I have a question. So, raise your hand if you listen to the record. Well, that's almost all of you, right?
Don't lie.
Amy, good to see you. Amy's on the record.
It's true.
Yeah.
BGV's and Hard to Care.
That's true. Yeah.
I love that.
Lucia
moment.
is too.
Lucia's on the record. Lucia, raise your hand if you're a Lucia.
And some dude who was captain of a boat.
Yeah, there's a boat
Random
captain.
guy, random boat
What was his
captain
last
came.
name?
Yo,
Dom. Captain Dom.
homie
He's
wore
also-
a lot of cologne. Like,
Yeah. It didn't go away for like 2 days after he left. But he was a really, 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 really nice guy.
Really, really nice guy.
All love, but it was like Axe body spray for sure. He just
no.
It was wonderful. It was a great experience.
I
It really
like
was. I loved that moment though. It was where everybody was in here. We had set up the room and like everyone was in a giant circle. And we had a bunch of friends and just singing the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, we know all the places we go. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the lyric.
You
Yep.
got it.
Nailed it. I was afraid I'm gonna mess it up. I mean, the last song is not a song that's on the record.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's important to talk about because it kind of embodies the entire experience of making this record. I mean, we started off with like 20-something songs. I had actually found that book at home.
Yeah.
And it was all the songs, and then we voted collectively which songs we thought were the best ones.
So Gabe's process is very different than any other producer we've ever worked with before. Is that he just like listens to us for a long time and gets to know us really well, and then finds out like who, his assessment of who we are instead of who we want him to think we are. And I think that was really valuable. Is he had that objectivity. And I remember this Jeff Tweedy quote a long time ago. He said like a producer is like above the trees, and like the artist is in the trees. And I feel like I'm just so thankful for you for like to be above the trees, and because you've had such a front row to our career for such a long time. Again, I told you guys like we're like much more famous than his band was now. So
It's true.
no, Gabe. You guys don't know. If you guys don't know, Gabe is like one of the greatest producers in the entire world, and is like on fire. And we're so even grateful to even just be in the same room and be able to work with him at a moment where he's like figuring so much out. Like we benefited so much from you. Thank you so much.
I benefit from you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, so what he does is that he just kind of like investigates you and asks you a lot of questions and just gets you to talk a lot. And by getting to talk about, it's kind of like probably like this feeling like we went into this feeling like we had nothing to say, and then he was like, "What do you mean you have so much to say? Like you're so united in fear, a fear of feeling like it's over, fear of like being labeled as whatever it might be." Like Joey came back from this like therapy retreat like right before we started, and we're all just figuring this stuff out, and probably a lot of it's just like growing pains a good deal, but I'm just like, it was just we were so primed to make this album, and I think if we would have made the album that I thought we were going to make before this, like we wouldn't be sitting not only in this room, we wouldn't be sitting in front of you guys anymore because we wouldn't be a band anymore. And this album gave us a means not just to make an album and tell the truth, but it gave us a means of being friends again, And that's what this song is all about. And this really encapsulates that freedom. Again, the song didn't make the album, but it's called Me and the Band. And we made it right here on the floor. And we've never done this before because, like I said, we're very calculated and very precise in how we do things. And we usually like come in. We're very prepared, and we make the songs and we record them the way with the parts already pre-made. And this was like Gabe was just like, we're kind of ahead of schedule. Like let's just go in here and experiment. Let's see what happens. And God bless Gabe for that, because I think that this opened up a door to finish the album in a different way. It even took a turn that we didn't expect it. But this song, it's kind of just about this idea of like feeling like every time we want to walk away. Again, the word leave is like in every song of this album, because I just felt like I didn't know how to go any further in this band. I didn't know how to go any further in music. I didn't know what the heck was next. And this the song says like every time I think about leaving, I just turn around. and I just turn around and look at my boys. That's it. Yeah, dude. And it's
My
like,
boys.
Yeah, and that's really it. Like, I wouldn't be here definitely without you guys. So I'm so grateful for you guys and you too. Truly, thank you. Thank you for like opening our hearts up and our minds up and helping us make music to feel more and think less, because that's what it's all about, and that's how we started. And that's somehow you take we say this like in the first album, we go around the world across the street, and every single time we do this every album, but it feels like somehow we fully took like a super orbit, and we're like somehow like back to this feeling of naivety. And I don't know, I just feel like myself again. So whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
We love you, Chase.
Wow.
You got anything?
Big, dude.
What'd you say?
That's big.
Thanks.
Okay.
Isn't this cool though? Like to get to like us to have a conversation with like, I don't know. I think about like if I got to see like Brian Eno like talk to David Bowie. I'm not saying like this, you know.
I love that comparison though.
But like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, to somebody somewhere, maybe. To somebody somewhere, like, I just think about like, it's just, I'm trying to take a moment to like take this in and be like, thank you guys so much for being here. And anyone that's on Twitch, like Kai Sinat, like, what's up? Like, invite us on.
Oh my God.
And yeah, all right. So
I also think it's important, you know, you get some great writers to help you on this record too.
True.
And you got a couple of them here tonight.
It's true. Trent, are you here? Is Trent Babs here? Oh, he ghosted us.
Trent
All right.
Daddy.
He was. I saw him.
He was?
I did see him
He had
right
a great jacket
yeah.
on too. He looked great. Looked good.
Yeah, if y'all don't know, Trent is like one of our deepest collaborators and greatest friends. We met him on a co-write, totally random, and we wrote Growing Pains together day one. And then just from there on, it just like we just made song after song, and like the most influential, like most important songs to our career have been made with Trent. And this album is no different, you know. So, and there's a litany of other writers and collaborators we made, but for the most part, like this album was really largely written by us three, which was also a huge development and different. And this song is one of those songs too, where like we just made it on the floor. Not only have we never tracked anything on the floor before this album, we've never written anything. And so all these lyrics were written on the spot and just like truly spur of the moment, just feeling like broken and just like I really needed to go outside. I should have gone outside, but instead we made the song. That's good though. But I don't know why this song didn't make the album. It just felt like it was cut from a different cloth, but I wish it did. We should make it deluxe, I guess. There's like 50 more. There's like 50 more songs.
So many.
Yeah. That's the one.
Oh boy.
That was crazy. That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, you were going to mention Along for the Ride. And
Oh, yeah.
And Trent was a part of that too.
Yes. Yeah. So there's Ryan songs, there's Chase songs, and there's Joey songs. Kind of like how there's like, you know, Paul, George, and John songs.
And Ringo.
Yeah, and Ringo. But and then there's and so like Along for the Ride is a Ryan song, and Strawberry Jam is a Joey song, and so more Ryan songs if you guys want to know. Like what do we got? We got Simple Romance, we got Feeling, we got Killing Me.
Wow.
Some real sleepers. And that sounded negative. I didn't mean that in a bad way. I meant like they're like
Real killers.
real lurking in the shadows to take your mind. And
Take your mind.
So anyway, he made the song. He was on this kind of like creative renaissance, and he made the song. And he booked a co-write with Trent, again, a dear collaborator. And he made this song, and oh gosh, I just felt like I heard it for the first time. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I like that. And the more I listened to it, the more I understand. Because sometimes we submit songs to the group, and sometimes they're like, oh, this feels like us, or sometimes they were just like, okay, this feels like you, and that's fine. They go do your thing with it, and those songs don't see the light of day sometimes, but
Yeah, typically never.
yeah, and but yeah, so and I listened to the lyrics, and I don't want to like paint you in a corner, Ryan, but I just heard this idea to kind of what Gabe was speaking to about kind of how I felt like I had too much control of the steering wheel, and I kind of like boxed my friends out and wasn't allowing them to like, you know, help me. And I heard this song and be like, I made it up to you. Like, what have I been through? And for the first time, because in this process also, I don't remember what song we made that day, but Joey coming fresh off of that retreat thing, like we got in like a screaming match together at your house
Yeah, it's pretty. That was the worst one.
That was the worst one.
That was legit the worst one.
And I had this moment where he said to me, like, he was like, my 100% is not any different than your 100%. Just because we reach our points at different times. And it was so good, and that's what this album's all about. It's like seeing each other for who we actually are, not who we want each other to be. And that's what Along for the Ride was all about. And that song was so hard to make, so hard to finish, because I also had so much fear of letting Ryan down, you know? And that was a huge theme, and that's when I fully let the fear go. And ironically, of course, the song that Gabe's kids sang that line on, it's because I was so scared to touch it because I didn't want to mess it up. I didn't want to let him down because I feel like I had let him down so many times in the past because it was his idea that he brought to me. And I don't know, Ryan looked at me and he just was like with tears in his eyes, and he was just like, "You've never let me down."
Yeah.
And that was the first building block in us realizing that like we can get over this fear, because most of this stuff is like self-prescribed anyway. Yeah. I don't know. You got anything to say?
It was cool because I walked in on what was like them fighting. I was like 20 minutes late, and then they finished fighting, and then they kind of looked at me, and I was like, oh no. But then we started talking kind of a little wider, and he was in that headspace, and you thought you let him down, and everyone was like, we're always letting each other down, but I think we've only built each other up. And when we've let each other down the most, we've grown from it. So I'm super grateful for those moments. Super scary watching you guys fight, of course. But that was a cool point, because had we started the process with Gabe yet, we did like one chunk, right? And then we left and then came back and did
Gabe
more.
left us pretty raw after talking to us for like 4 days, and he was just like, all right, guys, go live your life. And we're like,
I think
what?
that's why that stuff was like,
get out of my house.
Have a great weekend.
that's why that stuff was coming out, I feel like.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah.
Like, what'd you say? Like, under your breath, you're like, dude, relax.
Yeah. No, you're right, though.
Totally,
Stuff that was not fun to talk about. Like, some really awkward, weird stuff. And just like...
you say?
Yeah, but ultimately we had to get over that, though, because otherwise we were just going to make things just to keep the engine going. You know what I mean? And that's like... I sensed it. It was like, that would have been the beginning of the end. You know what I mean? In like a way where the car just like slowly stops, not like a screeching halt, and that's like kind of the saddest way. Like that line in "You" is like, we fell apart and it was no one's fault. Like that's like,
there's nothing you could do.
Oh my god! Like I know, and if you could have just like fixed it with a rosebud, and like that's what it feels like. That's what this album feels like. It feels like Rosebud, and we felt like we said that so many times that this album's our first album ever, and that's like kind of rude to say to our discography because I love it so much. Again, it made us who we are. But at the same time, we've never been this lucid before. We've never been this uninhibited. And so maybe it's not our first album, because I think you spend a lot of time in your 20s like trying to like, you know, posture yourself to be the person you want people to hope they see you as or whatever. But this album was like, well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And
but I think that's, in light of like that pain and that difficulty, that's what led to these moments of like a song like Me and the Band, because it kind of came back to all this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, and it simplified down to, let's just make music together and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And move away the baffles and be able to look at each other in the eye and have joy and see each other as great creatives and as brothers and friends. And not as you guys have a shared dream. It's not 3 separate dreams.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that how you get there might be different, but as much as you can be together and united, I mean, that's what Me and the Band is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You want to play that song?
That song title is ridiculous.
It's also, we should be The Band and I, which should be more appropriate.
The Band and I. Yeah. That doesn't have the same ring to it.
What's also interesting about Along for the Ride, actually, really quick, is the vocal on that song was the last thing recorded on the whole entire record. Like, the absolute last thing.
We recorded it like 4 times because I was terrified.
Yeah, you
just remembering that
you
night.
threw your headphones across the room. You're like, I can't do it.
I can't do it. I can't let Ryan down. That's what.
That's like literally. That is literally. Ryan was not there.
You did so great, and I wasn't
Gabe
there. And Gabe texted me
Yeah,
at like
we-
2 in the morning, and he's like, "We got it." So,
I've been told to say that at the end of this, please stay seated just for a moment. Right, that's the end of this thing. That's a weird thing.
Gabe sound like a youth pastor.
I've been told to say that please leave your money back right corner.
The offering plates are gonna come around in a second.
Let's see if we can remember this.
All right.
So we've only played this once, and it was in the studio.
Yeah, we played it once. Like, we played it once down, and that was it. Lyrics written on the spot, everything. It was just like pure emotion.
This is a fumble through.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. This is the world premiere, guys. Hottest record in the world. Here it is.
And CJ, thank you so much for being here to capture.
Yeah, and you got to picture it. Like, it's like a person with a crank with one eye open, just like, I got the shot. Right there.
All right. I love this song.
It's called Me and the Band. World premiere.
Turn around, she's my turnaround. Keep me floating off the fence. Turn around, she's my turnaround. I've been with her since the end. Hey, it don't hurt that bad when your feet are barely floating in the aftermath. Hey, I don't need it that bad. I just keep it in my pocket or just wear it on my back. Yeah, every time I need a reason. Every time I'm thinking about leaving, I turn around. She's my turnaround. Yeah. Keep me floating off the fence. Turn around. She's my turnaround. I've been with her since the end. Hey, it don't hurt that bad when your feet are barely floating in the aftermath. Hey, I don't need it that bad. I just keep it in my pocket or just wear it on my back. Yeah, every time I need a reason. Every time I'm thinking about leaving. Every time I'm thinking about leaving. Every time I'm thinking about leaving, I turn around. Just me and my babe.
Thank you. Transition. And that's why I didn't make the album.
And that's right.
I'm just remembering, like, you yelled like that, like, once. Like, it was, like, we recorded it, it was done. We've never touched it since.
No.
Like, what the hell just happened to Chase?
That's kind of a moment in time kind of thing.
I think he got, like, possessed, like, haunted.
Yeah, like I said, this place is very haunted. All right, whatever, guys. I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I don't know what the heck happens next. I've not been involved in the planning of this. But to all my homies, Kai Sinat on Twitch, just want to say hey. And, truly, like, thank you so much for listening and being here. And this place is, like, extremely special, and it's like a weird time capsule that'll somehow never change. And it's so cool to be able to share this with somebody else, because, you know, when you make the album, you're making the album, and then when you put it out, you put it out. And there's a very separate things. And I don't know, it's just a very rare occasion that you get to, like, somehow combine both these worlds. This feels like a Danimal sweepstakes, you know, like kind of given away. Like, thank you so much. Like, you guys won. You guys did. We found the winners. All right. Bye. Thank you guys so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I have no idea what happens next.
And thank you to all the Twitch people out there watching the
Thank
stream.
you to my deepest homies.
Deepest homies.
All right, I don't know what happens next.